Hey, Frontliners, and welcome back to the film Frontline. Today, we have to talk about something that has been living absolutely rent-free in my mind all week. If you've been following Hulu's hit survival series Paradise, you already know Season 2 has been serving us pure, unadulterated stress. But Episode 5, titled The Mailman, just took things to a whole new level of dark, twisted, and deeply psychological. Grab your iced coffee and get comfortable because we are doing a deep dive into the bunker today. And trust me, there is a lot of mess to unpack. Now, let's get right into the breakdown. Up until now, we've been reeling from the absolute tragedy of Annie's death and watching Xavier step up as the ultimate protector for her newborn. But Episode 5 hits the brakes on the immediate aftermath to give us a look at what Xavier's fiercely loyal wife Terry has been going through. And here's the kicker. We aren't seeing it from her perspective. We're watching her survival through the eyes of Gary, the mailman. You guys, if you ever needed a masterclass in nice guy syndrome turning into a literal walking red flag, Cameron Britton's performance as Gary is it. He gives off this quiet, unassuming energy, but beneath the surface, it is incredibly chilling. Before the world ended, Gary was your classic isolated guy. He was lonely, quiet, just going through the motions of his delivery route and spending his nights gaming online. Through gaming, he meets Ennis, an extrovert who claims to be an engineer. They form a bromance that actually brings some light into Gary's life. When the apocalypse hits, following that terrifying assassination attempt on President Cal Bradford, Ennis rounds up a crew of survivalists. Because Gary realized his local post office was a designated fallout shelter, they bunkered down there to weather the storm. And this is where Terry enters the chat. During the chaos, Gary essentially rescues her and a young boy named Bean, whose parents tragically overdosed. Over the next 3 years, this group forms a makeshift family inside the post office. We see beautiful moments of humanity, like Crystal and Jackie getting engaged, and we love a thriving apocalyptic love story. Terry becomes the absolute emotional anchor of the group. She brings warmth. She makes sure they celebrate Christmas. She is giving total matriarch energy. But Gary is mistaking her basic human kindness for romantic interest. He builds her a radio to broadcast messages to Xavier, which is sweet until he crosses the line and tries to kiss her. Terry shuts it down beautifully, establishing her unwavering platonic boundaries and her steadfast love for her husband. Things go completely south when the ash cloud finally clears. A mysterious train rolls into town, guarded by heavily armed strangers, claiming they want to restart the world. Ennis and Gary check it out, and when Ennis realizes Terry is going to leave them to finally find Xavier in Colorado, he tells Gary they need to brace themselves to go back to being lonely bachelors. And what does Gary do? He shoots Ennis dead, just like that. And little Bean witnesses the whole betrayal from afar. The absolute toxicity of this man willing to murder his best friend just to maintain control over his twisted fantasy of keeping Terry is mind-blowing. Flash forward to the present timeline, and we have Xavier holding Gary at gunpoint. Gary is straight up gaslighting Xavier, blaming the train crew for kidnapping Terry and Bean. Xavier is now plotting a massive rescue mission and building a bomb, but he's highly suspicious. When Xavier talks about how Terry would never let anyone else read bedtime stories to their kids, it highlights the cracks in Gary's story. Gary confesses his unrequited love for Terry, vowing to help Xavier save her. But we, as the audience, know the truth. Gary is a monster hiding in plain sight. Now, it's time for the film Frontline opinion. Personally, I am obsessed with how this episode tackles the theme of loneliness and the male ego. It contrasts Terry's healthy, resilient independence with Gary and Ennis's toxic coping mechanisms. Ennis lied about his entire career just to feel useful and loved, while Gary's isolation festered into a dangerous, possessive entitlement. We all know a guy who thinks being nice entitles him to a woman's heart, and seeing that play out with apocalyptic stakes is terrifying. Inuka Okuma is giving the performance of a lifetime as Terry. She is a total queen, emotionally intelligent, deeply grounded, and completely unbreakable. Looking at the bigger picture, this episode sets up a massive collision course for the final 3 episodes. Will Bean be the one to expose Gary's murder to Xavier? Xavier is a smart, observant man, and I firmly believe his instincts are already screaming that Gary is full of lies. Plus, what is really on that train? You don't have 16 heavily armed guards just to protect renewable diesel. There is something huge at play here, and I have a feeling this Restart the World initiative, led by the mysterious Link, is going to be our next major threat. So, I have to ask you guys, do you think Xavier already sees right through Gary's nice guy act? And what do you think is really hiding on that train? Let me know all your wild theories down in the comments because I need to talk about this. If you loved this deep dive, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you never miss an update, and keep it locked right here on the film Frontline for all your TV and movie breakdowns. Catch you in the next one. Stay safe out there, Frontliners.